going on, man? It's another one of these.
It's number 42.
It's number 42, and it feels like it's about the 42nd time we've tried to start today. It's been rocky.
Take 3.
Take 5,
or
take
whatever.
something. Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Hey, man, if it's your first time in, my name is Aaron. This is my buddy Kevin.
What's happening?
We are the hosts of the Feed Your Fat Face podcast.
We are the Fat Faces.
We are the Fat Faces. This week, we're going to be talking about something very close to us. We've told you guys we want this to be something that is very
Literally
local.
and
Literally and figuratively close. We're going to talk some iconic San Antonio foods. So San Antonio is while mainly kind of in one genre, San Antonio actually is a place where there is a great deal of food innovation. And so we thought it would be good to give those things a nod. So we're going to talk about some iconic foods. But first, how are you doing since we were together last?
Man, you know, I'm having a good one. You know, I work at a place that believes in days off. So I'm off in the middle of this week for the 9/11 remembrance, for the 9/11-2001 remembrance. And
my boss brought me brisket today, so I won't complain. But we don't get the preponderance of days off.
No, you guys believe in meetings.
We like a good meeting.
And we like days off.
Yeah, and I was telling people, like, one of my staff complained about having to go to a meeting once. I was like, listen, I don't want to hear it from you, because by the time one of my staff is sitting in it, like, me and, like, I've probably been in it 4 times.
Right.
And so I'm like, miss me with that one meeting was long. Like, forgive me if I'm not sympathetic.
The majority of meetings that I have found, the majority of meetings could be email chains.
Ours, it's weird. Like, there's some of ours that are genuine. We have so much going on logistically that sometimes it's good to be in the same room.
Sure.
But yeah, that's not to say that all of them.
No, it's impossible to say every meeting is necessary.
Talk food to me, man. What's a good eat you've had since?
I tell you
what have you fed your fat
yesterday.
face? Oh yeah,
I had steak from the meat market over in Castroville.
Zook's
with a D, and
naturally.
Yeah, well, that's how
the traditional.
Yeah, the traditional Zook's. I had a great.
That's one of the best spots for jerky and like summer sausage anywhere in South Texas.
Absolutely, Brittany bought a bag. She just went in and ordered jerky, and they handed her a gigantic bag of jerky. She was like, I meant, okay, thanks.
Your wife and I, though, handle food quantities the same. I'm like, there's 2 people coming over, probably need 8 pounds.
Right. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
So I had a ribeye from there that I'd gotten, and so yesterday I was going to hit golf balls. Yesterday being Sunday, I was going to hit golf balls in the afternoon, and I normally don't marinate steaks.
Yeah. Was it a ribeye?
It was a ribeye.
Okay.
And so I just got a wild hair, salt,
do.
pepper, garlic on it, and then I was like, well, I'm going to put some Worcestershire on there. And as I was doing that, I noticed a bottle of amaretto, so I put some amaretto on it also.
Never known anybody to put fruit on their steak.
And it was amazing.
Yeah?
It was so good.
I mean, I'm going to trust you. Like, I mean, I don't have any reason to not, but
I'm usually a pretty good judge of food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can't judge, but
and I guess
food
really,
isn't one of those.
I was talking about it with my in-laws were in town, and so we'll get into what I ate. But we were talking about it this weekend, and the reality is, if you enjoyed it, then it was good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say the cut of meat was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Zook's does.
They do a good job.
They do a great job.
Well, we went.
They are not a sponsor, but if there's anyone from Zook's watching that wants to reach out,
maybe you could send it to them.
Yeah, we can send them the.
Maybe at least get a free T-shirt. I would wear it.
Or
maybe they could provide the snacks one time.
Yeah, jerky, little bowl of jerky right here.
Kevin at Feed Your Fat Face, we would love to talk to you about partnership opportunities.
I'm going to send this to you.
We went to another a friend that we're going to be sitting with soon. We've been telling you guys a lot lately about B-Daddies. They just opened up their second shop in Bandera on Main Street, and they're crushing it. BR and his wife Davina are the owners, and I've been in there far more often than I should on my own, but I decided to finally take my family. So Friday, me and my wife and my in-laws went.
Have you been enough times without your family that they were like, oh, you really do have a family?
Yeah, really. They're like, oh, look, hey, it's good to meet you guys. So yeah, that was great. He has this, I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but his seasonal sausage right now is a Hatch green chili with Monterey Jack cheese. And it's
almost October. They didn't go pumpkin spice.
Thankfully, they did not go pumpkin spice. So I had that and brisket, and he has probably the best mac and cheese in the game.
Really?
Yeah, and it's simple, man. There's not a lot to it. It's not like doesn't have like a crusty topping on it.
Now, let me ask you this: my 5-year-old loves mac and cheese.
Okay,
would she come in and say this is
I think so, because there's nothing chefy about it. It's just like really rich, like melted cheese with macaroni noodles, and it's pretty good.
I'm in.
It's pretty good. So, so we're gonna talk everything today. We're gonna talk breakfast tacos, barbacoa, and Big Red. We're gonna get through it. You ready to dive in and talk some iconic San Antonio fare?
Yeah. When we talked about this, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah,
day before yesterday, and so I started looking up, what food is from San Antonio. I just got a bunch of restaurant lists.
Yeah.
And basically the same 10 or 12 restaurants on every list. But I didn't really come across anything other than breakfast taco, Puffy taco.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's
more
what I'm here
that.
for.
Yeah.
It's an educational adventure.
Educate us.
Educate you, I shall. So we're gonna begin with the breakfast taco, because the breakfast taco is it's hard to miss, isn't it?
It might be the best food there is.
It's a big statement, but I'm not gonna fight you,
because you could have a breakfast taco at any time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna split hairs tonight.
What?
Well, you know how I feel about breakfast for dinner, so eggs at dinner, but I don't always get eggs on my breakfast taco. So.
You could have your order of breakfast taco at any time of day.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going.
So here's an interesting thing. So we'll get into kind of there is a debate over where they are really from, but most people agree that somewhere in northern Mexico, Tamaulipas or Monterrey was the birthplace, and it is what you would. Well, it's actually not what you would think. It was a family's way of processing leftovers. So they would tortillas are easily made, and
isn't that how most wrapped foods come to be?
Yeah. So they would just put whatever in it,
look
and
what
you would
we've
eat
got.
it. The earliest references in San Antonio date back to the early 1900s, and it was Hispanic families from Mexico, or Mexican families, combining leftovers and eggs and tortillas for a good meal. And so there's a lot of this. Well, San Antonio claims itself we are the birthplace of the breakfast taco, and a lot of people are like, no, it's northern Mexico. But you have to realize that until 1836, San Antonio was northern Mexico.
Yeah.
And so
both statements can be completely
the reality
true.
is even by 1950, you're first generation removed from that. So certainly a lot of those traditions and food practices would have been right. By the way, every once in a while you're going to see a thumbs up go across the screen, because when you shoot with your iPhone camera, if it detects you giving a thumbs up, it will throw one. And now we're going to try to do it, and it won't. But there was one just a minute ago. So, anyway.
So you're going to get this for the next however many minutes.
Anyway, the breakfast tacos origin, it came. So here's the debate. Austin, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, Austin decided it was going to call itself the birthplace of the taco.
That's a very Austin thing to do.
They're just filthy liars with a good PR department, is all that Austin is. They're really good at marketing.
Yeah, I mean, because Austin's awful in every way.
They have good. They have good music. I'm going to give them that.
Yeah,
but I like to pop in, pop out. I'm not there to camp out in Austin.
Yeah, I can stream it from Austin.
Yeah, but it has evolved from simple homemade breakfast with staple everywhere in the city. But what's cool is it has become this representation of this blending of culinary traditions and realities, because everybody puts their own spin on it some way.
For sure.
And so you can get just about anything. Like you were joking. A lot of times for breakfast tacos, I'll just get something with meat. So like an al pastor or an asada, no egg, not even cheese usually. But everybody kind of does their own thing. You have the basic white girl, which is just potato and egg, which we'll get to all of the. You can laugh, but you know that I'm right.
I know you're right.
And there's another one we call the güero, which is the white guy, which is just bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what white men eat. Anyway, flour tortillas are kind of the standard. You can get egg, you can get them in corn, but I don't know.
Sure.
Man. You're not. Let's not try to make a breakfast taco a health food.
No.
Let me ask you what.
And I just don't like corn tortillas.
I have had corn tortillas that I like, but in general,
a few.
Yeah.
But
they need to be homemade.
Every application, if you ask me ahead of time, I'm going to prefer the flour over corn.
I'll allow it.
So,
let me ask you, what makes a good breakfast taco? What are not talking toppings, but what's your evaluation metric, if you will?
The first thing is heft. It's got to have
want it to be substantial.
I want it to get me through the morning.
Yep.
Is number one. Number two is going to be that tortilla. I want it to be warm and soft and whatnot, but it's been kissed on the griddle.
You okay with store-bought or?
As long as they're treated well before they're served.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. You know, they're put on the griddle, they're steamed or something like that. After that, I go for eggs. I like the eggs.
Yeah.
So I'm getting...
You getting all worked up?
I'm getting a little worked up here.
Should have brought some in, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? We need to plan that better on my side.
I'll do all of the background work if you just bring the food.
Deal. But yeah, I like a big taco. You know, I like some grilled onions or some grilled peppers or something like that in there as well.
I said not toppings. What's wrong with you?
Well, you know what? I'm down the food.
We're gonna get there.
I am down the avenue
We're
now.
gonna get there. For me, I think tortilla is the most important, and I really have no space in my life for a store-bought tortilla. I need it to have been made on site. If I'm making them at home, that's different. But if I'm going to a restaurant,
Why do you get a pass at your house if they're not going to get a pass on whatever they're selling?
Because I'm lazy, and I'm not paying myself, and I don't call myself a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Those are my reasons.
Those are 3 good reasons.
Yeah. I just feel like you can't be in the running for best breakfast taco if
I don't
didn't
say
even.
It would be best if it was store-bought.
I would like to know from you guys, is store-bought okay in the tortillas? The next thing I look for is, I just put the topping quality and ratio. So I think we're saying the same thing. Yours was eggs. I don't want dried out meat or something that you've microwaved. I want it to be fresh.
I don't want to be able to tell it was left over.
Yeah, and then for me, the salsa. I like it needs to be a good salsa.
Yeah,
I don't have some heat.
I
but
like more of a salsa than a pico.
And then
for breakfast tacos.
Yeah. What would you guess? This is now. Keep in mind, we're talking San Antonio. If you had to guess, what's the most popular filling? Yeah, chorizo and egg is the most popular. What would you guess number 2 is?
Pork something.
Potato and egg.
Really?
Yeah, that surprised me.
Okay, yeah, I'm caught off by that one.
A lot of white women eating tacos.
I didn't see that many.
And by the way, that's not. I don't want to get canceled. We love you, white women, and I'm proud that you have your taco.
I think you have to have more followers than we have to get canceled.
Well, imagine if we did get canceled.
What does that mean at this level?
That's a good point.
Instead of our parents plus 3, it's just our parents.
Around it goes bacon, egg, and cheese, bean and cheese, barbacoa, chilaquiles, sausage and egg, and then bean and cheese with bacon.
I'm surprised bean and cheese was that high.
And it's on there twice.
I'm not surprised about bean and cheese with bacon.
Yeah.
But bean and cheese, just bean and cheese, I'm surprised.
Do you have a spot that you go to? Do you have a local favorite taco spot?
I don't have a favorite one. I have them kind of sporadically. I work from home, so I'm not usually out during major
taco
breakfast
hours
time.
So I have a couple of categories. Like there are a few that we're going to highlight that are just well known for being considered the best. But then I have one. There's a little taco truck on my way to work called La Soyas. It's in Bernie, right by Bernie Middle School South, and it's delicious. Yeah,
nice.
That's my spot. But there's a place in town creatively called the Taco Cafe.
The Taco Cafe.
Yep. And it purports itself as the best tacos in America. And it was given that title by Bon Appetit and by Food and Wine Magazine.
Really?
Yep. It's been featured on Food Network. Guy Fieri's been there for Triple D. And they have a massive taco called El Norteño, which is a personal favorite of mine. And when you bring it up, it looks exactly like you hope it would. It is a rundown building, nothing fancy. Their website is poor, but it is. The tacos are for real. It's at 145 East Hildebrand. If you're in San Antonio, so that's the Hildebrand and I-10 area.
Nice.
If you're ever that way, it is worth the stop.
Wow.
Taco Cafe. Another spot, Pete's Taco House. That's taco with a K. Family owned.
Yeah, as you get for Zooks.
Right, like Zooks.
Yeah.
Family owned and operated since 1978, and they're celebrated for their own recipe of chorizo. They do their own chorizo and egg.
That's cool.
It's actually, it's at 502 Brooklyn, so that's like Brooklyn and 35 downtown by McCullough. It is recently renovated, so it's got kind of a cool vibe, and it's kind of been brought back to life by the resurgence down there. But they're widely considered. And then there's two others. One is, I think it's just called Taquitos Data Point. A lot of people go there.
Yeah.
And then there is Rolando's Super Tacos.
I don't know Rolando's.
Yeah, famous for their plate-sized tortillas and generous fillings. So it's going to have the heft.
But that is...
It's a burrito.
It's closer to a burrito.
It's a burrito.
But I'll allow it.
Will you allow that a super taco is essentially a burrito?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a, oh, this is my big taco. Yeah.
If you make breakfast tacos at home, what's going in them?
Egg, sausage, bacon, cheese.
Embarrassingly, I never even consider multiple meats.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
I've never planned with a single meat.
I'm a little embarrassed myself right now.
I know you wouldn't go for the eggs, but I'd make you one.
I do eat
sans
eggs.
egg with potato.
I like bacon and potato and cheese.
Okay.
But
if you added sausage to that or chorizo to that, it'd be amazing.
I just thumbs up again.
Hey.
Yeah, so San Antonio is the undisputed birthplace.
Right.
I'm not even listening to it, potentially being from anywhere else. So we win breakfast tacos, and I think breakfast taco is easily the best and easiest.
And your
breakfast,
favorite
especially
is from the truck in Bernie.
La Soya's in Bernie. Yeah.
I need to try that one.
Yeah, it's good. We'll maybe sometime we can go together. You ready to move on to our next San Antonio icon? I
think I am.
You think you are? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Puffy taco. There it is. San Antonio is well known. I found that picture online, and
that's perfect.
Man,
that's pretty perfect. Pretty perfect. There is not much as awesome as a nice, moist puffy taco.
It's really something special. Henry Lopez. Do you know why that name is important?
A little bit.
Why?
Not completely, but
that is the mascot, Henry the Puffy Taco for the San Antonio Missions.
That's his name?
That's his name is Henry. Yeah, and 1950, Henry Lopez was experimenting with masa dough, which is corn tortilla dough, and he fried it, and it kind of puffed up like that. And
everything that gets fried is better.
Always. And so he filled it up, and
if you like burritos.
The funny thing is, I don't actually like Henry's Puffy tacos, no offense. I do there's a spot over by the big cemetery, the San Fernando Cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Called Ray's Drive-In.
Really?
You ever been to Ray's?
No, I've not been to Ray's.
We got to go to Ray's, man. Ray Lopez was Henry's brother. And
younger or older?
He becomes the first to sell them commercially. I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
We have to look into that.
But they're better. We should probably go to both, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Go to one, go to the next.
Oh, yeah. Back to back.
Maybe that's what we do next week.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
All right, next week, Puffy Taco review. We'll have to find the hours. But, another one for me is a really good one, but I modify it. Am I okay if I modify it? So El Chaparral?
Because, look, what Feed Your Fat Face is all about is about finding the things that you enjoy.
Yes.
And so that's going to be modified for most everyone.
Yeah, El Chaparral has a really good puffy taco, but I get him to sub fajita beef into it.
Oh, that's
pretty good.
I haven't done that.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Well, yeah.
There's a lady in town, Diana Trevino de los Barrios, who owns La Barrios, La Hacienda.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
all of those chains. Not chains, but all of those concepts. She did a throwdown with Bobby Flay in puffy tacos.
Did she win?
I think she did. I
think that would actually be one of the harder ones for him to win.
Yeah.
I told you this
concept
off
of that show.
air before. He is the greatest competitive chef ever.
What I love about that show is
what's the thing you make best?
Well, he's like, listen, spend your whole life getting good at one thing.
Yep.
Give me 15 minutes and I'll whip your ass out.
Yeah, I'm going to make your best dish better than you when I've never made it before.
He does. Bree was the first one to point that out. She's like, what is the point of this show? Like he knows he's amazing.
I mean, how bored do you have to be with regular cooking?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
The Beat Bobby Flay show is one of my favorite shows. The only time that I've ever seen an episode where I was like, they should have just stopped filming, was a woman who had won a previous Food Network show came on, and her specialty was a casserole. And you saw it on his face. He just went, I'm out.
He's like, nah, I'm making a ribeye.
He's like, I make real food.
Casserole. So Teca Molino is another restaurant. Has been serving Puffy tacos since 1937.
What?
Yeah. And so that's all San Antonio, my friend. That is,
anyone that's a fan of the NBA, and I'm going to leave it at that, knows that San Antonio knows food.
Yeah, ain't that right, Chuck?
I was leaving it alone.
Ain't that right, Chuck? Man, another one of my personal favorites, and I think you and I will agree on this one. It's the delicious Bean Burger, a San Antonio original. For those of you who are not familiar, it is a cheeseburger topped with refried beans and Fritos, and usually pico de gallo, sometimes avocado slices. Have you indulged?
I have, and there's a place, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm not going to think of it right now, but they will do black beans on top.
I don't like black beans, but I am glad that option exists. Because
I like black beans.
Yeah, so it's phenomenal.
That's more my speed.
So the Bean Burger was born here in San Antonio in 1953 at Sills Snack Shack, which still open.
Still here.
You can still go get a burger at Sills. It says the lady Evelyn Kinnell created the Bean Burger by adding refried beans, Fritos, and cheeseburger to a hamburger as a joke. Joke's on you.
That's kind of like the wing.
Yeah. Said the combination was an instant hit.
Of course it was.
So if we ever open a restaurant or a food truck, I've told you I want to create a burger called the number one plate. Have I told you about this?
You've told me about it.
It's basically a cheeseburger, but instead of like shredded cheese or whatever, I want the patty, and then refried beans, and then 2 cheese enchiladas, and then a little bit of guacamole on top of that. And so I want it to feel like the cheese enchilada plate.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I'd love to test the concept.
Anytime, right?
Yeah.
So other local diners began replicating the Bean Burger. Some famous spots, the Lord's Kitchen down Houston and 35, which that, by the way, is just a great burger. If you've never been down to the Lord's Kitchen.
You're not going to order something in there that's not awesome.
No, Armando's Burgers is a hidden gem. Armando's does like they do a lot of burgers, flavorful take.
How long has Armando's been there?
Oh man,
at least 30 years.
Yeah, I'm sure longer.
40 or 50 probably.
Yeah. Tycoon Flats on the St. Mary's Strip.
Really?
Yeah, they have a good bean burger.
Okay.
But my favorite, in fact, I had to load another picture of it. My favorite is the Chris Madrid's Bean Burger. That's the macho cheddar cheesy bean burger right there.
Chris Madrid's is
you can't even see the beans, but they're in there.
Yeah, it's so hard to beat.
Look at that thing. This is a polarizing picture because there are people looking at this right now going, ew. Hey, listen, our show's probably not for you.
Yeah, if you ooh that burger, then yeah, you might want to.
Yeah, you might want to check out.
It's going to be downhill.
The show's
from here.
called Feed Your Fat Face.
Yeah, yeah.
Faces don't get fat without a little bit of that.
Right.
So bringing on Chris Madrid's back. They had a fire a while back, wiped everything out, but they're back open, full swing.
And honestly, when I heard like Chris Madrid's burned up, yeah, figures.
Yeah, that was like
tracks.
I'm not mocking, but their founder passed away of a heart attack, and I was like, yeah. Again, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. But if you
understand.
asked me to take odds on how he was going to go, that was at the top.
Hit by a bus probably wasn't up there. Chris Madrid, in fact, the founder of Chris Madrid said that the Bean Burger is San Antonio on a bun. Unexpected, bold, and absolutely delicious.
I can see that.
Here's an interesting fact. The Bean Burger is not just in San Antonio, but widely credited with sort of opening the door to creative burgers in general.
Really?
Yeah, like they feel like that risk kind of opened the door for other people to start doing wacky things.
I don't feel like that's a big risk, though.
But I agree.
I just don't.
But if you've never done anything, like if they would have gone like, hey, look, we put a salmon fillet on it, she probably would have been drowned like a witch.
Well, that's true here. Yeah, here that.
Hey, lady, why you put fish on the burger? Yeah. So a favorite during Fiesta, San Antonio's annual citywide festival. One of the only things you can't buy on a stick, but you still can buy at Fiesta, is a bean burger.
Can't buy on. That's about true.
Did you know the Frito was invented here by accident?
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was an accident.
It was
I knew it was invented. It makes sense. Everything that was invented that's food is an accident.
Yeah. So that gave birth, though, to the Frito Pie.
Yes.
Now, that picture there that you're seeing, that's not how the Powers family made Frito Pie growing up, but that I felt like was a quintessential Frito Pie that most people would have known.
Will you go ahead and point out the differences?
Of mine and theirs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is chili with Fritos on it.
Right.
It's got some cheese and some onions.
Right.
We made a lasagna.
Okay. That's if I'm gonna have a Frito pie, that's how I'm gonna have it.
Like that or like mine?
No, like yours.
Yeah, so we would layer. So
a little bit of Fritos.
A little bit of chili.
And a chunk
of chili. A little bit of
chili.
cheese.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom.
Frito,
boom.
and you layer it.
Yeah.
But when I say a little bit of cheese,
well, I mean, come on.
I want you to think this.
Yeah, on a Frito pie.
Right, but on a Frito pie.
But you do Frito chili cheese, all the way up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in the middle, the layers sort of mix, which is okay.
Yeah, as you're going.
Yeah, but essentially you've got the bottom Fritos are a pie crust. Chili cheese. Yeah. Charles Elmer Doolin was a San Antonio resident. In 1932, his friend was trying to invent something else. And literally, so
what a great failure.
Yeah, well, but what a great friend, because his friend's like, yeah, you're right, that sucks. Sell me that recipe. And then turns it into the Frito empire. Started producing Fritos in his mother's kitchen, packaging them in wax paper bags and selling them on the street.
He cut his buddy out of it?
That is the legend. That is the urban legend, is that his buddy, he was just like, good luck to you.
Wow.
I know, it's pretty ugly.
That's a bad one.
Many people have debated it, but there's a woman named Teresa Hernandez who first served the Frito pie at the Woolworth's lunch counter in downtown San Antonio in the 30s.
Okay. I don't know why those things are like up for debate.
Yeah, and we're not like erecting statues to the woman. Like, just let her have it.
I mean, Frito pie, no, but bean burger, Puffy taco, those could have statues.
Actually, do you know, it said one of the reasons why it took off is because Fritos were really, really cheap, and chili, as you know, in the 30s was made with really dirt cheap meat.
Yeah.
And so in a time...
Yeah, low grade.
During the Depression, though, it became a really hearty staple, and so people got into it.
Hey, when it finally does get cold for that week, it's going to be cold here. Frito pies are awesome.
And it did become like a staple of baseball and football games.
Frito pie is one of my wife's favorite things. She loves Frito pies.
Your wife, really?
Yes, it's one of her favorite foods.
And she's from darn near Oklahoma.
Sure.
A couple of famous spots in San Antonio. If you're looking, the original donut shop, ironically, has a Frito pie that they're
Chuck and I are
for.
not surprised.
Atta Girl Ice House offers a gourmet version with smoked chili.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got nothing wrong with a B&D Ice House combines barbecue brisket chili with Fritos for a hearty twist.
A brisket chili is so
hard to beat.
Good.
And then my favorite place, at my house. This is one of my favorite things to make, man. It is just delectable. Cultural impact, interesting facts. Frito-Lay's headquarters in Plano, Texas showcases the company's history, and Frito Pie is a big part of their history.
Yeah.
Now, okay, how do you feel about this?
I would imagine, my guess would be like 30% of all Fritos go to Frito Pie. Probably more.
Yeah, I would guess so.
I really think it's probably closer to 50. But
how do you feel about when they just open the bag of Fritos and scoop chili and sprinkle cheese into the bag?
That's usually at a football game or something.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm not a fan, but if I'm at a football game,
necessity is the mother of invention.
Right. You need something to eat. They have the hot dogs in the hot dog water. Somebody has
not a Bandera football game.
Somebody has burned some pucks that they're putting on bread for burgers.
Hey, hat tip to Ray Salas and the Bandera Athletic Booster Club Association. Best sausage wraps in the high school football game, and as you know, I've traversed far and wide.
Store-bought tortillas or
Ray is not a Mexican restaurant. It is a snack bar.
All right.
But their hot dogs are not soaked in water.
No.
Ray does a good job. Ray does a great job.
I hit a couple football games in Bandera, and I know they do a good job.
I'm really excited about this last one. I don't know if you are or not, but this one fires me up. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbacoa and Big Red. Oh, I am, in fact, drinking Big Red right now as as a tribute to the. You can't even see it.
Another cup of Red 5.
No shame in my game. It feels delicious. So, how do you like barbacoa?
Barbacoa is excellent.
Do you like it lean or do you like it?
I like everything.
I've told you my story. Can I tell you my story about ordering?
Let's tell the story.
So there's a place that I always went to order my barbacoa, and I went all the time. It was right down from the church, and I was in there often. And one day I decided I'm going to take it to my coworkers so that they also can enjoy it. And so I go and I tell the guys, like, I need 3 pounds of barbacoa. And he says, do you want it regular or lean? And I looked at him and I was like, I have no idea. And he looked right at me and goes, are you feeding it to white people? And I said, I am. And he goes, you want lean? And I was like, okay, there it is. Because if you don't, it's going to have a little bit of cheek fat, a little bit of tongue in there. If you order it lean, there's a chance you're just getting shredded brisket that was stewed overnight.
Right.
But if you order the real deal, you're getting the cheek, and there's going to be some tongue. It actually originates it's not a Hispanic origin. It is Caribbean, and the name has Caribbean origins.
Makes
the word
sense.
barbecue, which was adopted by Spanish explorers. It's slow cooking meat. It was originally sheep or goat, but has since morphed into beef cheek in underground pits. Big Red, Nectar of the Gods, created in Waco in 1937 as Suntang Red Cream Soda.
Right.
Became popular in San Antonio during the 50s, and nobody really knows how they got married. But it is a Sunday tradition like nobody else. Like it was, families would go to Mass.
Right.
And they would, on the way home, they would stop at the local vendors. They would pick up barbacoa. They would pick up Big Red. And all that they can think of is that there's the overwhelming richness of the barbacoa, that there's something in the sweetness of the Big Red that
I can see that. I've noticed Fridays, huge delivery day in a lot of neighborhoods in town for Big Red. Prepping for the weekend.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, big deliveries.
Yeah, and here's the thing that people may not understand, like people are gonna think I'm making this up. If you're from San Antonio, you'll
know this.
It's not a small deal for somebody to be like, hey, you want to get barbacoa and Big Red? Like, so I worked at a shop.
Oh yeah, no. If you get invited for it,
yeah,
it's meaningful.
I knew I'd crossed the line. I worked for a little while managing an auto shop store when I was still bivocational in ministry, like a mechanic shop.
Right.
And there was this guy, we had a hard time clicking. He was this old dude, he had it his way, and I'm coming in trying to grow this whatever. But one Saturday morning, he shows up with an ice chest full of Big Red, and he says, hey, my wife made us some barbacoa. And I'm like, Bobby and I are going to be okay.
Yeah.
That was like we crossed a hurdle, man.
Yeah, that's the hatchet right there, man.
That's it. So it was buried. It was on from there until I had to fire him for pulling a gun on a customer.
Well, I mean, there's...
Barbacoa only so goes so far. Yeah.
Barbacoa can only cover up so many things.
Yeah. Some famous spots for it: Teles, tamales, and barbacoa. It says they're known for their traditional methods in early morning service. They are early morning, but I don't think that they're not burying it in the ground. I think they have other methods.
I don't know anywhere that still cooks it that way.
Maybe we could.
I mean, we could.
Pepe's Barbacoa, a variety of cuts and homemade tortillas. A place called Carnitas Lonja, which is celebrated for their authentic approach, award-winning recipes. And then there's family-owned and operated Rio's Barbacoa, which is a San Antonio staple. A guy named Juan Martinez, who is a local barbacoa connoisseur, says every Sunday we would gather at Abuela's house. Barbacoa and Big Red weren't just food and drink. They were the glue that held our family together.
I can see that.
It has morphed into such a thing. There is actually an annual Barbacoa and Big Red Festival, which I think is coming up.
Really?
We should go.
I did not know that. We should go.
Yeah, we should go. Do the Google box and find out when it is. We'll tell these people.
The Google box.
In 2018, San Antonio designated October as Barbacoa and Big Red Month. Does that feel significant? No?
That
Anyway.
does feel very significant.
So that
Barbacoa
was-
and Big Red Festival pops right up.
When is it?
Celebration of San Antonio's Freeman Coliseum. 32 days, 17 hours, 48
So it
minutes,
is
and
in
56
October.
seconds away.
October 12th. Saturday,
Noon to
October
midnight,
12th.
and then Sunday from
Wow.
10 to 10.
Noon to midnight. All right, well, let's do it, man.
12 to 12, 10 to 10. That's awesome.
So those are ours. I would be curious to know, what did we miss? There's one other story, but I'm going to save that one. But what did we miss? What are some San Antonio, what did you grow up eating in San Antonio or the Hill Country that you're like, oh, you guys forgot? Or what are some of your favorite spots for the things that we mentioned?
That's awesome.
Hey, if you live in Helotes, there's a new food opportunity on the horizon.
Really?
Yeah, man. Bobby J's, the burger restaurant,
Yeah.
formerly closed down. His spot has been purchased by the family that owns El Chaparral.
Nice.
And they're opening it back up as Two Brothers Burgers. And so it is under construction. I don't know if it'll be later this year or first part of 2025, but there's a new burger joint coming to.
I'm always excited to hear about a new burger joint.
Yeah, man. Is there anything San Antonio I missed? When you didn't live here, what did you miss about the Alamo City, Kev?
Well, Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
I mean,
In general?
Yeah, in general, Tex-Mex. Mostly, I mean, my favorite Tex-Mex food is chimichangas.
Oh, yeah. Which is just a burrito fried, if you're not familiar.
Yeah, it's a burrito. It's usually a large burrito, but it's a burrito that has been fried. And
I love that somebody was like, this burrito it's almost fat enough.
Do you remember when we went, not too long ago, we went to Chewy's or something, and my question for the waitress was, which of these dishes weighs the most?
Yeah.
And she was like, probably the chimmy.
Yeah. Well, it soaks up all of that grease before it.
Oh, so good.
Any parting thoughts, Kev, on food?
I'm so hungry now.
I'm so hungry. I know.
I'll do food next week we're gonna go do Puffy tacos.
We'll do Puffy tacos.
And then we'll after that I'll start bringing some snacks.
Well, hey, I want to invite our listeners to do a couple of things. I want you to like and follow on the YouTube channel. It's really easy. There's just little buttons down there. It helps get us in the algorithm, helps get the word out.
Doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. Helps us feel appreciated.
Yeah.
You can also share it on your social media. It's just a link to the episode if you laughed or enjoyed it.
We have seen some of the stuff y'all share.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on,
better
throw
than
us
that.
in there.
But also, I want to ask, I want you to interact with us more. So leave some comments down in the show. Interact with us on Facebook.
Yeah, you don't even gotta
interact
be
with us on
nice.
Instagram. We're going to try to post a little more. I posted some things this week. But share your stories and favorite spots for these.
Yeah, mad shout out to you though for what you did post because
I put some work in on the graphics this week.
You did, and it's much appreciated.
Yeah, the breakfast taco, I was proud of. I was kind of proud of this one, though I don't like the way the salsa spilled out.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it needs to make an appearance.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it works. It works.
Well, next week we're going to eat puppy tacos together, and that'll be a blast. What you got? Any other food misadventures going on between now and then?
Nothing big on the horizon. I hope to stumble into something fun. So if anybody's doing anything, I'm up for an invitation.
Right on. Give my man a line. And
Hey.
until then, Kevin, what do the good folks need to do?
Grill's hot, beer's cold.
All right, fatties, thank you for tuning in. It means a lot. We will see you next week.